Hey, it's Samantha Hartley of the Profitable Joyful Consulting Podcast. This season, we are talking about consulting ideas. And today I wanted to talk about reflecting on the year that was. Now, this isn't going to air at year end, but even if it is in the middle of the year, it's always a good time to kind of stop and look back at the year that was. Even if it's not exactly a calendar year, it can be a fiscal year or the 12 months that were. So I think this is a key practice, and I was reinforced in that belief when I heard Charles Duhigg, who wrote The Power of Habit, among other books, talking with Brene Brown. And he said on her show, the ultimate productivity hack is deep thinking. And I have been an advocate for thinking as part of your business since I wrote an article about it back in about 2011 or 12. It's always been something that I feel like we don't do enough, and we don't have enough opportunities where we just sit down and think about either what was, what's going on, what we want to have happen. And there's just way too much go, go, go. So what I want to do today is to reflect on the year that was together with you. And then in the next episode, we'll begin planning for the next year. I could easily have done this as a single episode and put both of those pieces together, and called it planning. But the thing is that I really want you to isolate reflection and to prioritize reflection. It's something that you could be doing in your business every month, every week, and even every day. Like at the end of the day, like what's gone well? How have things going? How am I feeling about the day? So that's the way that I'd really love for us to do this today. So even if you feel like you constantly are asking these questions of yourself, give yourself the opportunity today to be surprised by what comes up when you think about these questions, and to discover something that you haven't thought about before, or maybe just a perspective that you haven't thought about as you reflect on the way things have gone. To me, that fresh take on things is what's really key. And a strange thing that you can do is if you're sitting at your workspace and you fill out these questions or you answer these questions for yourself, you might find you have very different answers than if you are like out on your walking trails or maybe sitting in your favorite chair in the den and just doodling. The answers are going to come from a different aspect of yourself. We pretty much know what the work self thinks, so let's check in with them for sure. But like the part of you that wants to have more free time, or maybe wants to pursue some more hobbies, the part of you that is very focused on your client's experience of you, or the part of you that is like really wants to have a creative endeavor and to do something new and different in the world. Like, let's incorporate all those perspectives. And one of the ways to do that is by just not standing and sitting at your workspace as you answer these questions, but maybe kind of going a little, to another place to do these. The other thing is, when this airs, we're going to be in that wonderful space between kind of like the year is ending. So we're kind of working and we're kind of vacationing or transitioning into vacation time. So I really love when you are super high on vacation time to think about work stuff, because you have a nice, fresh perspective to think about it and the way that work can sometimes take over your personal life. So in that vacation time, like, let's really create what we want to have. So we begin creation with reflection. So take a moment. I'm going to run through these questions rapid fire today because it's a podcast, and I want to get this all out to you in a certain amount of time. But as you go through this, you might choose to pause at any moment, jot some things down, or spend some more time, just walking and reflecting in response to the answers. The first thing that I want us to do is, as we reflect on the year that was, and you think about it, like, what comes up for you? Just what are the feelings and thoughts and impressions of the year that come up for you? Was it a good year or a bad year? Do you have that kind of label on things? Or do you feel like that was hard, or that was fun, or wow, that was a lot of growth? Maybe it was just much. Were there adventures? Was it a lot of same old, same old? Maybe some adventures need to be introduced. So what's just that impression that comes forward for you? So the next thing that I want you to think about are what was this year? What happened? What are the events, the big events that kind of poke their heads up in the landscape? Where are the mountains of this year? And if we can begin to pivot our perspective, where are the wins? I'd love for you to take that big sweeping view of the year and ask yourself, where are the wins? And maybe the mountains come up first. These were the big wins. Maybe you got new clients, created something. Maybe you did things that were hard. I always love to count wins that were like overcoming obstacles or you doing a hard thing, something that was hard for you. Just broadly, what are those wins? You can even go month by month. And by the way, this is a great thing for you to track on a weekly basis. What are your wins for the week? Then when you reflect, you see growth and patterns and sometimes habits. Awesome. So as we're considering those wins, let's think about some personal wins as you as the business owner, like you in your business had these wins. Created things, maybe new habits, maybe expanded the business, maybe brought on team members. What are your wins? And then think about client wins. What are things that you helped others do through your business? Those are super fun and those are your wins too. So yay. Team. Were there team wins? And then no rules wins. Like what are all the ways that you won in the business this year? I always talk about celebrating penny-sized wins. A penny is the smallest part of $1 million. So I always pick it up. You should respect pennies. That's money. And the same thing with wins. Like, it wasn't that big a deal. It was like a little thing. Really? That little thing is important and can change your business. So celebrate even the little things. So what are a few of those tiny things that come to mind? Of like, I went home from my office on time once or twice the whole year. I got better at that. What if it was I said no to something? And that was a new and different experience. Now, here's a big one. I fired a client who was not, working with them was not in my highest interest, not in theirs either. Okay, that's a big win. Any tough wins like that come to mind? So just give yourself the space to think expansively about all of the things that could be wins in your business this past year. And now I want you to think about what's the win that you're proudest of? Which one stands out to you as like, that was you at your best? And again, that might be you triumphing over adversity. Like, that was a really hard thing to do, but I did it and I'm proud of myself. Is it easy for you to be proud of yourself? Is it easy for you to celebrate wins? Now, as you're going through these wins, I'd love for you to think about other wins that you have a feeling about. And why do you consider those wins? What was special about them for you? What makes them a win? And again, a lot of times this is going to be your behavior, your choices, decisions you made, things you did that were hard, like really you growing and exhibiting growth, and that growth is exhibited through wins. And those are fun things to look at. So as you reflect on all of those, I want us to spend a little time doing the opposite, which is looking at things that did not work. It is important for us to also look at things that didn't work. Now, for a lot of people, when they reflect on the year, they only look at things that didn't work. Like, we've got to make this different. And they forget to look at the wins. When we focus our attention on wins, we amplify them and we can get more of them. So how do we deepen the wins that we're going to get in the year? By really focusing on them, by dissecting them, by figuring out what made those happen. So often, and I've seen this in really big companies, they'll dissect failure to the tiniest detail. Like, we will run the forensics on why that campaign didn't work or why the client didn't respond to this thing. We will really do the failures, but we do so much less on figuring out, why was that so successful? Holy cow, that was amazing. What did we do? Now, what did I do that made that work? Now, what was I really focusing on? And let's just go back and get those texts and reuse them, like maybe polish them up or revise or update. So remember that you can repurpose your wins in the future by understanding them better. So what didn't work over the past year? And you can think about that in a couple of ways. You can think about that as like, that was super not fun. I did not love that. And you can think about like it didn't get the results we wanted. It didn't function. The car did not go, that kind of thing. So there's both functional things that didn't work. And then there's, may have worked or didn't work, but you did not like how it felt. So those are the ways I want you to catalog the things that didn't work. What kind of bubbles up to the surface from last year? What are the things that you do not want to take forward? We'll learn these lessons, but I don't want to do that again, or that can't go that way again. And when you have your list of those, I want you to go through them one by one and think about two things. What do I want to fix? And what do I want to dump? We're getting rid of it. So for example, maybe you tried a certain kind of networking and it did not give any benefits this year. Like it just didn't really work or didn't really go anywhere, but you feel like I'm pretty sure that there's something to know about it and I can probably learn something. And I think if I can connect with some people, I can figure things out. Okay. So that's a fix. And maybe you hired somebody and that relationship has just not gone anywhere and it has not worked. And you're like, I think I just need to fire them. That's a dump. You can just get rid of that person. Find someone else. Obviously we're going to be kind and compassionate in the getting rid of. And for you and for your business, that's a thing that didn't work. So we're going to dump and move on. Cool. So every single thing that you reflect on, I want you to think, is this a thing I can fix? Or this just needs to go. It is helpful to say no to things that you do not want to do in your business. It's also helpful. You might want to say, I don't know. I mean, is this thing just ruined and I can't possibly salvage anything from here? You might want to turn to, a coach or a colleague or someone who can give you insights about like, is this thing even worth me considering continuing, or should I just get rid of it? Whenever I coach my clients, one of the things that I will ask them at the start of a call is what's working, what's not working, and where do you need support? And so you can hear that what we've done for the year that was is we've reflected on what worked or that we felt joyful about. We've reflected on what was not working or that we felt unjoyful about, dreadful, or even just disinclined. Meh. Feeling meh is not profitable or joyful. You want to get rid of those things. And then where do you need support? So as you look over the past year, what I want you to reflect on is, when did you get support? How were you supported? By yourself, by colleagues, by coaches or advisors, by community, by the universe? Think about how that support came in and came through, and what you can do to enlist more support, to make more support happen, to bring more of that for yourself. Sometimes when you reflect on the year that was, you'll find that things that didn't work didn't have enough support. So if there's something that you feel like, I think it probably could go better if I'm supporting it this year in a different way, then that's a note that I want you to make. And as you look back and you think about the whole year, now that we've considered the wins, the ways in which things did work, the things that you felt great about, and also, the things that didn't go as great as you wanted, and then the support that you had around you. I'd love for you to spend a few minutes just writing down a few takeaways from this exercise. Like, what stands out to you? What are things that you really want to use and incorporate? Because when we are in the next episode planning the year to come, these are going to be the inputs. This information is what can make that year, a learning year, a year in which you learn from what was, so that you can grow expansively. Many of my clients who will double their business in the next year have done a deep dive on the year that was, and they've brought in the support to make that next year happen the way they want it to. So for now, spend time in deep thinking, reflect on these questions. It's okay to go back and do the whole exercise again, as I mentioned, from a different location or from at a different time of day, or when you're in a different headspace, and see what kind of answers come to you. I hope that you will use this exercise to deepen your own understanding of yourself as a business owner and of the opportunities that you have in your development and as you go forward into the next year. And I look forward to being there to support you along the way. And with that, I wish you a profitable and joyful consulting business. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell to get video updates. Thanks.